Good morning, everybody. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. It is Monday. We are back. We are back. I wish I could stream music on YouTube. I wish I could really do it, you know. I'm listening to Daryl Hall and John Oates. I'm absolutely vibing this morning. Pi! Pi is behind us. Look at this angel. Oh, hello. Hello, we love you. She doesn't really like to play with this little mouse unless I am making it move. Hello, hi everybody, welcome. You know what I would love to hear right now is where everybody's from. I would love to hear where you're from, where you're tuning in from this morning or evening or afternoon, right? I'm also going to take a couple more bites of my banana. Oh, I ate my whole banana. Just kidding. You do not get to watch me eat a banana this morning. All right, Humboldt, Northern California, checking in. Yes, Holly, it's so beautiful. I am dying to get up to Northern California ASAP. ASAP. I'm gonna be near Sequoias in May, so that's as close as I'll get. Hey, San Jose. What's up, Bay Area? Hey, Stephanie, good morning. Good morning, good morning. We're doing a check-in. We're just seeing where everybody's at this morning. I'm gonna share with everybody what I'm listening to. because what a vibe. What's up, Redondo Beach? I spent so much of my life in Redondo Beach. I love it. Yes, all the trees, all the trees. It's so wonderful. Yeah, we're in Los Angeles, loving it up here. Wow, there's so much cat hair on my desk. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I need to tell you guys about how I met Jeff Goldblum this weekend. Did you guys see that? Did you see it? Jeff? We love Jeff. Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, good morning. I don't know if you can see this. We met Jeff. Okay? It was a special day for me. I met Daddy, yes. I got to meet Daddy. We embraced deeply for a long time. As you see, that's my husband behind me. He's like, what the fuck is going on? This man's stealing my wife. I did do it, Miriam, finally. So, how did we do it? Here's how we did it. I'm very lucky, I'm very fortunate. My sister, her husband, John Story, is a very accomplished jazz guitarist, and he plays guitar in Jeff Goldblum's band, the Mildred Snitzer Orchestra. I've been meaning to go and see them forever and ever, and was living on the opposite side of the country. So now that we're here, I'm able to, do LA things. And we were able to get backstage into the green room, and I was able to meet him, and he's everything you could imagine. So as a young person that grew up watching Jurassic Park and loving Dr. Ian Malcolm, I was just absolutely smitten to meet him. Good morning, Shayla. Good morning. So yeah, it was lovely. It was wonderful. Here's a little group photo. I'm sharing photos, Shayla, about how I met Jeff Goldblum this weekend. Fuck the fucking shadows. Okay, there we go. Look at this happy family. So on the far left, that's my sister. Just to the inside, that's John Story, her husband, his guitarist in the band. And then, of course, there's Kamar, and there's me, and then Jeff. Such an amazing time. Oh, it's so great. I know, such a dream. He was really such an amazing person, such a sweet human, and was like doing all the Jeff-isms, you know. It's non-nat, guys. That's really how he is. So it was so amazing. I'm still like buzzing from it. Ryan, good morning. This is my first live class. I've done a lot of your classes. Love your stretches and all the things you represent. Thank you. That means so much to hear. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm very excited for today. Last week we did our intro to Rocket, right? We took this yoga sequence that I've taught before. We really slowed it down. We tried to make things as accessible as possible. And today we're going to do the Rocket 1, right? How you turn your back from Kamar's hilarious on this picture. Yes, Miriam. Miriam, Jeff Goldblum could take me from my husband and could take my husband from me. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Jeff Goldblum is a very dangerous person to have around your partner. So anyways, back to the issue at hand. We're doing Rocket 1 today, and our focus is going to be back bends. We're going to work on our back bends today. And I know when you think of back bends, you think, oh my goodness, okay, I got to warm up my spine, get all these things. But what we're really going to do a lot of is, of course, warming up your spine, but also opening your hip flexors and opening your quads. I'm your morning cup of caffeine. I love that. I love being your cup of caffeine today. So some things that could be really awesome and helpful for class today is blocks, because we're going to be doing a lot of like lunging work. We might even do some adducting. So those are things that will be really helpful to have. Yeah? Okay. So if you just walked in, welcome. Good morning. Yeah, quad stretches. I got you, Jelena. I'm listening to my own playlist. I'm listening to a radio station. I tagged it earlier a little further up, but I'm going off of I Can't Go For That radio. And right now we're on Sade. Who wouldn't want to move to Sade right now? Okay. So you can move to whatever you like. I'm all about people self-expressing, vibing with themselves. I'm vibing with Sade today. Okay. Let's do this thing. We're ready. I love it. Pie's here. I've got my water. I'm going to push this chair in. And we're actually going to get started. Oh my goodness. I'm going to get started standing. Miter. I hope I'm saying that right. Miter. Sade. Nice. Yes, we love a Sade moment in the morning. I'm going to have my blocks up towards the top here for me. And we're going to start standing. So if you aren't already, let's get on up. Let's get on up. Let's greet the Monday, greet the week, greet the morning if it's morning for you. I know for some of you, you're in Europe, some other parts of the world, so you're greeting your Monday night, and I love that for you. All right, we're going to spread out our toes nice and wide. Anchor ourselves to the ground. And we're going to take a couple moments of breath. Scanning our body from top to bottom. checking in with how we feel, not just in a physical way, but even in a emotional way, in a spiritual way, yeah? I feel a little tight. I'm feeling a little feeling a little cooked from the weekend, so this is going to be really great for us. We're going to take 3 more big respirations here at the top of our mat. Good, just one more like that. And then we're going to use our next inhale to reach our arms up above our head. Nice. And when you get up to the top here, I actually want you to bend your elbows and grab for opposite elbows here. Yeah? Now, for me, I like to kind of like lean my head into my forearms. We're just getting a little bit of shoulder opening while we're here, because a lot of our back bends actually require a lot of shoulders, right? Let's take another breath in here. And with your exhale, we'll release our hands down by our side, and we're actually going to fold forwards from here. So let's hinge from your hip line, melt down towards your legs. Hands can rest onto the ground. Hands can rest onto your blocks. Let's take a couple of pedals. We're just warming up our legs, warming up the outer hips. Oh. Yo, anybody else's knees pop like that? Damn, just me? All right. Now we're going to start to get into our sun A's. And if you want, you can always work these from your hip width distance, or you can do this with feet together. I'm going to kind of leave that up to you. Take one more breath here. Great. We're going to take an inhale. Halfway lift, lengthen out to your spinal column. Let that be like a nice little extra stretch into the hamstrings. And then with your exhale, let's fold forwards. Maybe you curl yourself up nice and deep, looking at your belly button. Inhale, let's rise up to standing. And exhale, reset in Samasthiti. That can be hands at heart center or arms by side body. Good. Inhale, reach your arms back up, Utthita Hasta in Tadasana. Exhale, forward fold, hinge from your hips. Nice. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen out through your spine. Exhale, let's plant our hands and step back to a high plank. We're just holding our high plank for 10 seconds. Draw the navel in, lengthen the tailbone down. Here for 3. Here for 2. Tabletop on 1. Drop your knees down. Take some cat-cows. Reach your heart space forward. And exhale, round and contract. Nice. Now this can be a little 2-in-1, right? You can just work your spine. Having your wrist and flexion can be really great. But you can also explore by trying your cat-cows with the arms in full external rotation. Give it a little go. Give it a little try. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. I'm going to do a couple little things here for my wrist because I always need a little extra, personally. Great, we got 10 more seconds. All right, as we start to round off these final 10 seconds, let's prep for our downward facing dog. Restack the shoulders over your wrists, tuck your toes. Take an inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog, lift your hips. Take 5 breaths here, pushing away from the ground and focusing on your external rotation through the arms. So that means these little undersides of your elbows are trying to shine towards the front. Bend your knees as much as you need. Try to knit your ribs together, right? We're kind of taking our time in this first one. Great, one last breath. Now we start to flow. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look to the front. Inhale, step or take a little hop to the front. We're into halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up to standing, Utthita Hasta Uttadasana. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, breath in. Plant your hands, step back to high plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower down to your stomach. Inhale, Bhujangasana, low cobra. You can stay hip width distance or zip the legs together. Peel your heart up off of the ground and then try to shrug your shoulders down and away from your ears. Activate the back muscles. Nice. Return your heart down to the ground. Walk your hands back a decent amount. Separate the feet hip width distance for sure if they aren't already. And let's go into another Bhujangasana. Nice. Maybe you start to apply some pressure into the hands. You slowly start to lift, working your way all the way up into upward facing dog. Lift up the thighs. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Activating from top to bottom. Your downward facing dog is an incredibly active shape. Your next inhale lifts up your heels. Your exhales bends your knees and compacts. Inhale to the front, halfway lift, lengthen spine. Exhale, forward fold, round, melt. Inhale, rise up to standing, Utthita Hasta Uttadasana. Exhale, hands to heart center or by side body. Inhale, reach the arms up, Utthita Hasta Uttadasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, high to mid plank. Know that you can always do those low cobras instead of doing your high to mid planks. 3 breaths. Good. 3rd breath moves us heels up. Bend your knees. Look to the front and travel. Halfway lift, breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, Utthita Hasta, Tadasana. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Know that you can start to take jump backs. I always recommend people landing with bent elbows in those chaturangas if you're doing that. 3 breaths. We move on the 3rd breath, heels up. Knees bend, look to the front. Travel, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, curl it up, babies. Inhale, rise to standing. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga. Again, those jump backs always available. The modification's always available. 3 breaths, and then we're doing 1 more of these sanes, but it'll be on your own. And in that last one, I want to encourage a little creativity, a little self-flow, a little self-analysis. What do you need? Maybe you need a little back bend. Maybe you need a little side stretch. We'll all meet back in down dog. Let's move. Just sync up with your breath. Listen to the little wanderings of your heart, the desires of your body. Great. And once we make it back into downward facing dog, let's hang here for 5 breaths. I want you to really focus on the opening of your shoulders in this position. And by opening, all I mean is that both of your arms are in this bilateral flexion, right? They're above your head. You're working the external rotation. You're knitting the ribs in, and you're controlling the shoulders within the socket. Last 3 here. Last 2. Nicely done. After this last one, let's take our front foot, our right foot. I'm like, let me say that again. Let's take our right foot to the front of our mat. We're gonna grab our blocks. I'm working on my foamies today. All right, we're gonna dip our left hip flexor down to the ground. We're trying to open that space. If you need the knee down, all good. We're just gonna do a couple rounds of hip flexor hamstrings right now. Are you joining me? Are you joining me, Miss Pie? All right, so front leg lengthens, and then the front knee bends. Again, you can do this with the knee up, with the knee down. If you're doing knee down and you wanna keep it down, you're gonna land in a half split, right? There's no wrong answers for this one, but I want you to keep a couple of things in mind anatomically as you go through this. When you're forwards in your lunge and your hip flexor is in extension, I want you to see if you can slightly tilt the pelvis in a posterior tilt. So that means you're trying to pull these little, like the iliac crest, the frontal hip flexors back. That way we're maximizing the space in the front body. And when you're doing your hamstring stretch, you're doing the opposite. So instead of contracting, you're trying to spill those hip bones forwards, yeah? I hope that makes sense. It's just a little detail that can really make a big difference. If you have goals like splits, just pelvic awareness in general, yeah? All right. When we make it back forwards into our front knee bending, if your knee's down, we're gonna tuck the toes, lift it up, and then we're gonna step to the front. Halfway lift, lengthen everything out, and with your exhale, forward fold. Now bend into your knees from your forward fold. Let your hips sit back nice and far, and then bring yourself into your Utkatasana chair pose. Now, traditionally in your vinyasa practice, people are gonna have you really tilted forwards. In your Ashtanga practice, in your rocket, we're actually gonna have a lot more lift in the torso. This is gonna help you when we get to back bends, right? Because we are creating back bend. Nice. Now try to sit a little bit deeper. Feel that energy work even through the front of the shin bones. Yeah, maybe you lean a little more weight forwards into the big toe ball mound. Get a little deeper for 3. Nice, straighten the arms a little more for 2. And let's bring the hands to heart center on 1. Interlace the fingers, press the palms forward. Now bring the chest towards parallel. Good. Now see if you can take the weight back a little bit into your heels. Flare out the toes for 3, for 2, and forward fold on 1. Plant your hands, step back to high plank. Take a chaturanga if you want it. We're back in downward facing dog, and we're gonna work the other side. Left leg. Let's bring it to the front of your mat. Grab your blocks. And same things apply. Knee down, knee up. We're just working hip flexors and hamstrings. Traditionally, we would just kind of blast through a sequence without doing this, but I'm a believer in a proper warm-up. Oof. Especially when it's the morning. Some of you, you've already had a whole day. I woke up a couple hours ago, so I'm still kind of getting my body awake. Oh, wow. Right side hip flexor's a little pissy today. All right, we got 10 more seconds. Great. And we're gonna meet in our bent leg position. We'll step our back foot to the front, and we're gonna go through that whole chair sequence again. So halfway lift, lengthen. And with your exhale, forward fold. Bend into your knees, sit on back, chair. Again, with that little cue in mind, we're trying to go for Ashtanga style chair. So we're trying to get a lot more lifted here through our back. Yeah, you feel those back muscles activating? I do. My rector spinae are like, hello, good morning. Sit a little bit deeper. There for 3. We're gonna bring hands to heart center in 2. And let's bring them in. Interlace your fingers, press the palms forward. This is your Ardha Utkatasana, your half chair. Now, if you want to level this up a little bit, let's lift up our heels. So you're balancing up on your toes. Again, trying to get the chest as parallel as possible. Here for 3. Here for 2. And 1. Let's bring the hands down. You can keep the heels up to prepare for our first arm balance of the day, which is crow pose or bakasana. If you know you're not going to be arm balancing today, it's all good. But if you want to take it, I like to keep those heels up, hands down, and bringing the knees onto my triceps. Now, even if you just lean forward and hang out here, this is still a crow. This is good, right? We got 4 points of contact, OSHA certified, safety is happening. But if you feel like playing a little bit, you can even just lift up a foot, the other foot, or both feet. Now, if you're working this crow, something I want you to create in your back, I want you to create what's called protraction. So I want you to separate the shoulders, push away from the ground, feel the belly lift, feel the hips lift, and even try to kick your heels in towards your butt. Now, if you have jump backs from crow, like through your chaturanga, make that happen in 5 seconds. Good. 3, 2. How quiet can it be? Upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Nicely done, everybody. Let's lift our right leg, breath in. Exhale, step through to low lunge. Inhale, dip the hip, open the heart to the front. Exhale, step the left foot to the front, forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen out through the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up to standing. With your exhale, bend into the elbows, but stay tall. Inhale, we back bend. Lift the chest, open up the heart. And exhale, fold back forwards. Nice. Halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, step your left foot back, low lunge. Inhale, we're going into our Anjaneyasana. Open up the heart, lower the back knee. And with your exhale, plant the hands, step back into downward facing dog. Nice. Left leg lifts, breath in. Exhale, step through low lunge. Inhale, open the hip. Exhale, step forward, forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to standing. Exhale, stay tall, just bend your elbows. Good. Inhale, back bend. That way we're lifting up and out of our pelvis. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, step your right foot back. We're going into our Anjaneyasana. Knee lowers, arms reach up. Good. Opening up through your heart space. And exhale, downward facing dog. Step back. Reset the breath. Good. We're going to repeat that. We're going to add on. You guys got this. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step through low lunge. Inhale, open up the hip flexor, reach the heart to the front. Exhale, standing split, lift up the back leg. Return the left foot to the ground, halfway lift, breath in. Exhale, fold. Rise up to standing, inhale. Just the elbows. Good, inhale, back bend, explore it. And forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, step left foot back. Anjaneyasana, once more. How much can you explore? How much do you want to go back? And let's take it back home, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Breath in. Exhale, step through low lunge. Inhale, the hip flexor opens. Good. Exhale, standing split. Return the right foot down, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise up to standing. Exhale, just the elbows bend. Use your inhale to explore your back bend. And exhale, forward fold. Nicely done, everybody. Halfway lift. Exhale, low lunge. Lower the right knee. Anjaneyasana. Once more, back bending, exploring the front body. Take the hands back down. Step back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. We got one more like this. All right, right leg lifts again. Exhale, knee to nose, step through low lunge. Let's lower our left knee down. Open up our chest to the right. I'm kind of crawling my hand up onto the thigh here. If you want to get into your quads, bend into your back knee. Reach back with the right hand and see if you can capture. If it's tough to grab with the hand, you can even grab your pant leg. There's a lot of different ways to make this work. It might even be helpful to just put a block under your left hand. Sometimes you just need to get a little bit closer. Now let's take a moment in this quad stretch at a depth that makes sense for you. It's a tough one, kiddos. Oh my God. Billy Idol, Eyes Without a Face just came on. All right, let's let go of this back leg. We'll tuck your back toes, lift up your back knee, and let's head into your standing splits again. Good, take an inhale here. With your exhale, release the left foot down. Halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to standing. Exhale, bend into the elbows. We're just doing one more standing back bend like this in this round, not for the rest of the class. Bah. Inhale, let's open up. And we'll take it back down into your forward fold. Good, halfway lift. And with your exhale, we will step the left foot back. I'm like, where am I? Into your Anjaneyasana. Nice. Now we're just going to have one little addition onto this bad boy, okay? We're going to go into a half split or a half kneeling, right? So hips can sit back towards your heel. Just want to give you a nice little counter for your back bend, a nice little fold. Let's bring you back forwards and head back into downward facing dog. Left side, left leg lifts. Great, knee to nose, step through low lunge. Hip flexor works down, knee comes down. We're going into that quad stretch. Again, just remember what made it work for you on the other side. Maybe it's literally just here. You're just getting some leg to come in, right? Did the block help you? Oftentimes with these quadricep stretches, the biggest help for me is the focus on a posterior tilt. My right quad is pretty tendy, so I'm trying to focus on that posterior tilt, but also trying to not like go ape shit, you know? 5 seconds. All right, let's let go of this leg. We'll tuck the toe, lift the knee, standing split. Nice, 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 nice. And then we'll return the right foot down, half lift, and forward fold. Let's rise up to standing. And again, exhale, bend into the elbows. Our inhales are for our back bends. Let's lift our chest, explore backwards. And fold forwards. You guys, so good. Halfway lift. Let's step the right foot back. And Anjaneyasana. Again, as much back bend as you want to play with. But then we're going to go into our half split or our half kneeling position. So you can just sit on back towards the heel, point, flex, whatever works for you. All right, let's take her forwards. And then we're going to step back into downward facing dog. Now you can stay in your DD, or if you want to play with Mimi, forearms are going to come down for dolphin position. Good. Now if you need like a proper rest, you need to come down to child's pose. This is kind of the perfect time to do it because we're kind of marking a transitional phase into a new part of our flow. Yeah? Now, if you're starting to feel like you're jonesing to go upside down, and you're feeling pretty good about it, you can always take this dolphin as a way to get into forearm stand, right? You can do that up against a wall. You can do that out in open space. You know what you need. I don't recommend trying to hop into your forearm stand in open space if you're unsure if you can do it. I always recommend using a wall. Have a backup plan. Have a safety plan, especially if you're practicing at home by yourself and I'm not there to see you or help you, right? If you've got a little more of an advanced practice, you're feeling good, I always like to recommend people try to press or at least set yourself up with a single leg lift, right? Here, you lean forward. Your bottom foot is the one that moves you up and into this bad boy, right? Lift, lean, taking your little hoppies, yeah? So if you're doing this one, I want to give you time to play, right? Your back should be feeling relatively warmed up and ready for it. Let's do, since we're already at that point in class, let's do 15 more seconds. If you're resting, that just means you have 15 more seconds of rest. Don't disconnect. Stay doing the music with me. Do, 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 do. All right, kiddos. Last 3. Great, great, great. Last 2. Nice. If you were playing in your forearm stand, let's bring it back. And let's head on to our next series. Downward facing dog is where we're going. Great. Our right leg is going to lift. And with your exhale, let's step through into low lunge. We're going into warrior 1 or Virabhadrasana 1. Okay? So back heel is going to adjust. The outer edge of my left foot is on the ground. I've got a bit of a turnout on that left side. Let's rise and stack, shoulders above your hips, arms up overhead, right? Now, usually when I first arrive into my warrior 1, I'm always doing hella adjustments. I'm kind of sneaking my front foot forwards, getting a bend into my knee, trying to keep my shoulders as square as I can. Love this one for a nice outer calf stretch, hip opener. Let's take a breath in. Inhale. Exhale, we adjust to warrior 2. Front inner thigh, reaching up towards the sky. Tailbone nice and long underneath you. Arms reach to front and back. There we go. Now let's tilt our chest forward, move into side angle. Right arm down, left arm nice and high. If you can reach the ground and maintain tailbone lengthening underneath you without popping the hip out, go for it. Here for 3. Great, last 2. And 1. Let's bring ourselves all the way back up. Lengthen out through your front leg. Now shift the hips off center. Let's move into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Right arm down, left arm high. Again, breath in. And exhale, let's bring ourselves back up. Now we're gonna go for our revolved triangle. So usually what I like to do for this one, shorten my stance and widen it a little bit. Aim my chest towards the front, take my left hand down to the ground or onto a block and reach my right arm up towards the sky. Big IT band outer hip opener on this one, gang. Yeah, she a cruel mistress. Last 3. Last 2. Nicely done. On 1, let's bring ourselves all the way back up. I want you to keep looking at the front of your space. Bend into your front knee. Blocks are there for if you want. Let's go for Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Now hip is open for this one, right? I'm constantly doing a lot of corrections on myself for this, like sometimes my back leg's a little too high. And I love, of course, using a block for this guy. A little extra challenge for the legs and the core and the balance is if you just come up onto fingertips or release your fingertips from the block. Let's hang out here for 3. Nice for 2. And 1. Can you bend your standing leg again? Step your way back. And return to the earth. High to mid plank. Maybe you want to turn this into Ekapada. Upward facing. And downward facing. Left side, left leg lifts. Good. Knee to nose, step through low lunge. Warrior 1, adjust your back foot. Stack. Yeah. Make the adjustments you wanted to. I always like to focus. Pelvis underneath me, bending into the front knee. Take your breaths in. And with your exhale, let's adjust into Warrior 2. Take a little lean forwards. Side angle. To me, one of the most challenging positions because of the core strength it requires and the leg strength it requires. Yeah, my thighs, woof, my goodness. Tailbone stays tucked. Try to take those hips, if they're popping up, bring them back underneath you. Breath in, exhale, let's bring it up. Now lengthen through your front leg. Trikonasana triangle pose. Now shift your hips off center. Move the arms towards 12 and 6 o'clock. Stay with me for 3. Last 2. And 1, bring it up, prep for your revolve triangle. I shortened my distance and widen it. Chest turns to the front, right hand down, left arm up. Think about that left hip trying to hug back behind you. One breath in, friends. Exhale, let's bring it back up. Now see the front. Your back leg shortened in for you already. Let's get ready and set up for that Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. My block is there for me. I'm gonna take off. We're stacking the hips and opening them at the same time, right? We wanna be leery, especially if you're super open, of lifting up that back leg too much. Try to find some squareness. Reach up through that right arm. Guys, you're doing so good. Last 3. Last 2. Maybe you did your lifts, your balances. Stepping your way back and returning to the ground. High to mid plank. Upward facing. Yeah. Exhale, downward facing. Great. Now I want you to bend your knees a lot. Walk your hands back a little bit. Notice this compressed position I'm in. Try something for me. Lean forward into the hands. Push yourself all the way to the back of your mat. Did you do it? Yeah, of course you did. Let's rise all the way up to standing. Walk your way to the center of your mat. You guys are doing so good. I'm gonna bring my mat closer to you. We're gonna come to a standing wide-angled position, okay? So I want you to turn your toes to one side. Great. And we're gonna do some wide-legged folds here. Guys, you're doing good. We're almost to the end. You got this shit. Open up your arms nice and wide. Lift up your chest. Take an inhale. Exhale, let's bring hands onto hips. Fold from those hips. I'm feeling them with my middle fingers. Opening up through the back body. Good, my little loves. I want you to lengthen out through your spine. Come all the way back up to standing. Now reach the arms all the way up to the ceiling. Breath in. Exhale, let's take them behind you. Chest expansion grip. Lift up your chest. Breath in. Exhale, hinge forward and fold with that chest expansion grip. Oh my God. Shoulders. Good, let's bend your elbows, release. Hands come down to the ground. We're gonna do a round of splits, very quick splits. Let's turn to the right. And I want you to go to your depth of split. That can be full, that can be half, that can be 3/4, right? Right, 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 wherever you are. Splits are a wonderful thing to train in order to prep for back bends, okay? That's why we're here. What the fuck is on my pants? Good, we're here for 3. Here for 2. And 1. Let's bring ourselves back. Pivot through center. Same thing to the other side. You can do your half splits, your 3/4, your full splits, wherever you are today, kiddos. No wrong answers. All right, let's bring ourselves back. Turn yourselves back to center. And I want to give you a couple of options before we head towards the ground. You can hang out here and do whatever kind of wide-legged fold shit you want to do, right? Hang out, grab your ankles. You can bring your head on the ground. This can also be an opportunity for inversions, right? Great opportunity for headstands, wide-legged handstands. You can even go all the way down into middle splits. So many ways to slice this pie, yeah? So we've got about 10 seconds here. I'm on carpet, so sketchy. What's going on? All right, now our goal is to come down onto our butts from here into straddle. If you're doing like handstand things, one of my favorite ways to transition down, of course, this is for advanced people, right? You're a freak of nature if you can do this. Then you can come from your straddles all the way down basically into like your Titipasana hold, then drop down to your butt. If you're in your wide-legged position, you can walk your hands through your legs in external rotation and then slowly bend into the elbows to plop that booty down onto the ground. You can also just walk down to your knees. Sit off to one side and land in your straddle position. You did it. Take this back leg, sweep it to the front. Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Bend into your knees a little bit. Make your way into your folded position. Good, we're here for 3 more seconds. I love Paschimo. I feel like I could be in Paschimo all day if I wanted to. All right, let's bring ourselves up because we still have a good amount we want to do. We'll lean over to our left hip, bend into our right leg. We're gonna get set up for half heroes. So I'm gonna move my calf meat out of my way. I'm gonna try to get my butt on the ground. If this is something that isn't happening for you, in your back, in your knees, like all these different things can make this shape really difficult. You can stay leaned off to one side, okay? I'm all good with it. Butt cheeks, sit bones want to be on the ground. Now we're gonna lean back any amount. The one thing I want you to kind of hold yourself to is to make sure this leg doesn't lift when you go back, right? Focus on your tailbone tuck. Again, we're trying to focus on our back bends, our quads. If you manage to make it all the way down, remember that arm above the head position we did earlier, grabbing for opposite elbows? Look, it's back. It's back. So take it if you want it. We're here for 3. We're here for 2. Nicely done. We're gonna bring ourselves back up. I wanna give you one freaky little option, friendos. If you're feeling like taking in one more challenging arm balance, here is the option for you. I want you to bend into your left leg. Attach your tricep onto that left leg. Single-legged crow. If you were doing crows earlier and you were going apeshit with it, here you go, another opportunity. You lift up. This leg is gonna extend. Once you find your balance, and back into downward facing dog, yeah? So good, you guys. All right, let's make our way back to the front. You can work jump throughs. We're in our seated fold one more time, yeah? Leaning over to the right, working on your half heroes other side, yeah? Now again, all those modifications I gave you before, leaning off to one side, leaning back, again, your posterior tilt is going to be the thing that focuses this on your quads and hip flexors. Once more, through that half heroes, arms can come up above your head, grabbing for opposite elbows. Good, we're here for 3. We're here for 2. And 1. Let's start to bring ourselves back up. If you took that single-legged crow with me on the other side, then right knee bends, right arm works onto that knee, and we start to get down towards the ground. Again, keeping everything nice and tucked in. Back into your downward facing dog. And then again, working jump throughs if you wanted to try them once more. Now we're gonna work our way back onto our hips. So if you were just doing like your half heroes pose and you're like, girl, I'm not doing the single-legged crow, then you can just sweep it around to one side. Let's lay down onto our backs. And we're gonna start to work through our bridge and our wheels, yeah? Now, starting with your bridge, arms are gonna come down by your side, feet are hip width distance, or wider and or turned out, right? Everybody's body's a little different. Maybe your knees and hips need something different. Hips are going to lift up. Now, I like to walk my shoulders underneath me if I'm gonna, especially if I'm gonna start thinking about doing my wheel, yeah? Tailbone nice and tucked. Now you can stay here if you want, or you can start to work towards your Urdhva Dhanurasana wheel. Hands come above your head, fingertips point towards your shoulders. You can push and press up onto the crown of your head or push through your arms all the way straight. Now there's a lot of things I like to do once I'm in my wheel shape. I like to do a lot of leans. Sometimes I like to do head taps and presses, right? Tapping the crown of my head, pushing through my arms straight. Here for 3. Nice, last 2. And let's bring it down on 1. Gather your knees in. But try to keep your spine really long and neutral for a moment. Rock a little bit side to side. And then let's take your fingertips into your knee pits. Rock up and down the length of your mat. Great. You can rock up to a little boat float. And then we're gonna work towards your knees. But I wanna give you a little suggestion on how to get there to your knees. One essential part of rocket, right? We're doing rocket 1, there's rocket 2, there's rocket 3, and you can stretch these bad boys out into legit, I've taken 2.5-hour rocket classes. Thanks, Ahmed, my teacher from Carson's 200-hour training that I did a couple years ago. So a lot of the training is about pushing, right? And core and all that stuff. One thing that we trained a lot was working some pushes from here. So legs can be crossed, hands can come by your side. My husband is a lot better at this. He's got nice long arms and he's strong as fuck, right? Lifting up your butt from this position. Now, for some of us, we're gonna need blocks, right? Even just putting them on their lowest level next to you is gonna get the hips up and off of the ground and get you through and onto your knees. So let's just try that 3 times. Even if you just push and you don't even lift your ass up, but you just feel that sense of pushing and lifting, good. We're here for 3, 2, let's push and lift. Bring it down. Good, again, we're gonna try to get to our knees. Let's do 2 more pushes in 3, 2, lift. Take it back down, nice. 1 more time and we're gonna try to get to our knees in 3, 2, and 1. Let's get up, right? Take it underneath you. and work onto your knees. Good job, you guys. That's a tough one. We're gonna finish with camel pose. This is called Ustrasana. Ustrasana, right? In our asana practice. So we come up to standing on our knees. My friends that have a tough time with your adductors, stick your block between your legs. I like working with a foam block for this one. If you're on a hard surface, you can roll up your mat, give your knees a little padding. Toes can tuck if you think you want to do a reach back, right? Now, I like to imagine myself like a Pez dispenser dispensing my little block forwards. Hands support your low back, lift up through your chest. Right? Now, if you're feeling good, you can start to trace along the ceiling, looking back. Maybe you reach for your heels. Now, I'm going to kind of lean back in order to get my heels, but then I want to push my hips straight back forwards, okay? Here for 10 more seconds. So good. Resupport your spine if you aren't. Let's bring you up. And we're going to work into a rock pose. I'm going to start to put on some chill music. Start to settle it down a little bit. So I'm going to bring my knees together. I'm going to just hinge forward. It's kind of like child's pose, but with your knees together. And I like to bring my arms by my side and let my shoulders kind of round forwards and away from me. Now, if you want to open up the hips from here, start to walk them out. Reach your arms forward. And take that child's pose release. Now let's push into our forearms. Bring yourself forward, walk your legs back. And we're going to stretch out our arms in front of us. And we're going to roll onto our backs like a little gas station hot dog. And we're just going to let everything stretch out for this final Shavasana. Relax your jaw. Let your lips part. We'll take a deeper breath here. We'll rock our heads a little side to side. Circle out our ankles. And we'll make our way up to a seated position, however you want to get there. And I want you to take a moment to thank yourself, to thank your space. Every time we do a practice like this, I truly, truly view it as a little love note to ourselves, an agreement to be here, a willingness to be here. Thank you for letting me be a part of that. Thank you for letting me teach you today. And I hope to see you again next week. It's going to be a special class next week on Monday. It'll be my birthday. So we're going to have a happy birthday flow. I'm really excited about it. Wonderful. That's better. Also, got a couple of special offerings this week and coming up. Tomorrow. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. Tomorrow, I'm going to be teaching this flow plus a little extra in person. If you're in the beach cities in LA, I'll be teaching it at Soho Yoga at 6:30 p.m. Yes, 6:30 p.m. tomorrow night, Hermosa Beach, Soho Yoga. I'll be teaching a power flow, subbing for Natasha Snow Needles. Wednesday, we have skills and drills. I feel like my bananas started to creep up. Yes, skills and drills, we're going to finish off our month of arm balance and inversion skills. And then Thursday, we have beginner's movement. So really excited for our schedule this week. Thank you, Shayla. Can't wait. Birthday week. Yes, thank you, Rachel. I'll be turning 34 and I can't wait. Your 30s are awesome. And then I want to share with you guys a couple other things I have going on. Let's see. So that'll be the birthday week, right? Technically, it's the third week of April, right? The weekend of the 14th and 15th. I'm going to be teaching a lot. I'm going to have a lot of options in the LA area. So I'm going to substitute Sculpt at 4:30 p.m. Friday night. 5:45, we're doing Power. And then the next day on Saturday, I'm doing what I told myself I wouldn't do. I'm teaching a morning class. 7:15 a.m. Power Flow? Holy shit. And then I'll be doing 10 a.m. Yoga Flow, non-heated. And then at 4 o'clock that night, I'm going to be teaching a vinyasa workshop at a studio in Torrance called Kefi Yoga. It'll be a 75-minute vinyasa workshop. So I'm really excited about it. Lots of good things happening for April, everybody. Yay! Thank you, Miriam. Bisous. Bisous to you, my dear. Always so wonderful to see your name up there. Everybody take wonderful care of yourself this week. We're entering Aries season. I like it, obviously. It's my birthday time. But for some people, it can be a little intense. We're in spring. Everything's exciting. Everything's growing. sense of renewal. Thank you, Meter. Again, I hope I'm saying that right. Oh, bisous, je t'aime tu. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to everybody for showing up. This was wonderful. I'm trying to think if I have any more things to share. I think that's it, you know? I think sometimes it's like information overload. So I'll be sharing all this stuff onto, you know, Instagram and on my website as well. All right, friendies. Love you forever. Love you, love you, love you. I hope to see you again this week, but if not, next week. Yay, Aries babies. And yeah, wonderful job again. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for coming. Have a beautiful rest of your day.